Wait, so
Um,
you're like in Orlando. You're like nearby.
yeah, so that would be like this would be like the Schaumburg of
Ooh,
Orlando area.
good pizza in Schaumburg.
Yeah,
You're an Illinoisan.
I am Springfield.
Former, because you're like an expat now.
Yeah, I betrayed
What's up?
twice because I lived there for like 15 years and then went to Des Moines actually.
Oh yeah, I was
Um,
just in Des Moines. What were we
yeah,
doing out there?
we lived there. I lived there for more actually. That I lived in Illinois for like 20 years. Moved in 2021 down here, and I get into the reason why in a bit, but yeah, I was in just outside of there in like Waukee area. Where in Des Moines were you?
I was at Teehees downtown in the West Des Moines area.
I
Uh,
am.
near the Wayne. Have you been by lately? Like the Rainbow Bridge there? They have the world's largest skate park in Des Moines now.
I branded that actually.
What the what? Go
Yeah, that was
on. Go off, King.
all I got. I can't even skate. I don't even know how we even got that job, but yeah, we worked with them a couple years ago when they were a startup nonprofit. And is it still the Come and Go skate park?
Yeah, I think so.
No, even though
And
Come and
for
Go is
those of
like
you,
gone.
for those of
Come,
you,
come
they're
is come and
is
gone.
come and gone. For those of you listening at home that don't know, there was for a very long time a very aptly named sort of like a quick trip gas station chain called Come and Go with a K, and they knew what they were doing. But like you got to brand that? That's awesome, man. I hung out there for a little bit. It was great.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
cool.
I
We
don't blame you for the park. I think it's cool that you got to work with the park.
yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
It was good
it was
though.
cool. Well, we got to do that, and then the Dew Tour came a couple years ago, and then we went to that. So I'm just like, that was the first time I actually got to go there. So I'm just like taking pictures of all the shit. I'm just like, ugh.
Nice. But like you were saying that you were amazed that you even got that. Like how'd that come down? Like were you just like applying? Like how did you even manage to get out into Des Moines? Like nobody just goes. You have a reason.
Chad, I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
But I can. How does he do it? The world may never know.
My mom got a job there. She worked
Nice.
in hospitality, did like hotels, worked for Marriott in
I've
Springfield.
heard of it. Stayed
And
it.
then we went over there, and then 9/11 happened. I know that's
Oh,
too soon.
wow.
And then,
This never forget.
hospitality, I never, yeah, me neither.
Wow, that took a turn. But anyway, go on.
Then that happened, and hospitality took a dump. And then so my mom got out of that, but we still actually really liked Des Moines. That's the thing. Like, I think maybe this goes with like all Midwest stuff, is like you always kind of got that no coast chip on your shoulder.
Right.
So like everyone's like, ugh, Des Moines. Ugh. And I was just like, it's way nicer than you think it is, buddy. All
Yeah, and it's
right.
also
We
got a
got
lot of hills.
we got trails,
Yeah,
really
they
good
do.
trails,
You
and
can
really good
like
beer.
made right Sammy's hitting
Loose
up
meat.
loose the good times, delicious.
Hmm.
The made rights you're having what else are you doing? Do you do Taco John's, not Taco Bell? I've been
Oh,
over
taco.
I've been
That's
over
the
to
one
those.
thing. That is the one thing I'm craving. It's like the
Yeah.
potato Olays.
That's
I
right.
miss them so much, and I
It's
can't.
the number one snack food you humans have created that I think dwarfs the mozzarella stick is the Taco John potato Olay with a secret spice recipe that no one has cracked.
I won't debate it. No, that's
Now there's no reason to.
absolutely 100% true.
And like the when it's like you get the chili olays, the fully loaded when it's like
Ugh.
Thanksgiving. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. Now I'm
It's dinner
wistful.
time now. I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
let's get on the highway. Take it to the highway. That's a good reason to pull over. Uh, and then like, well, so did you do a lot of hiking and biking out there? Did you like the high trestle trails or like the green belt or that kind of
Mhm.
stuff?
Yeah. Did that. We did more of the joggy jogs. My
Yeah, there
wife
you
and I
go.
did the Des Moines half there.
Nice.
It was the only half marathons I ever did. I
Were you
never do
there
a
when?
full,
No,
but
why would you?
no. Why?
No one has room for a full. Always get a half calf. Don't do full
Right.
calf.
Well, if
Did
I
you?
do two, 1 year after the other, that counts as one versus.
Yeah, it's like half and half. You got to have two of them to get a whole.
Right.
But like, also stretch and eat bananas. We were in Chicago at one point as well.
Yeah. I mean, I visited a
Many
lot.
times, I'm assuming, because of Illinois.
Yeah, I had a family who lives in Rolling Meadows up there, so I've been
Oh
up there
yeah,
plenty. And yeah, I always enjoy going.
cool. Will you come? Did you come down here during when they were shooting like The Dark Knight or anything? Because that was a dope time to be in
Oh, that would
Chicago.
have been sad. No,
Yeah,
no, that would have been so cool.
we every now and then we would see like GPD cars, and I would just take snappies from my friends and be like, "I told you I lived in Gotham City." And they're like, "You don't." I was like, "Check that out." And they're like, "Where's Batman?" I'm like, "Well, if you saw him, that means you did something wrong." And this is a true story. During Batman Begins, when they were rolling the tumbler back and forth along like Lower Wacker, we were hanging out at this restaurant that used to be by the Fox and Nobel on like I think it was Fremont. This is some deep Chicago stuff for you at home.
Oh
So
no,
like
lower whacker. I know that.
Google it. Um, and like we were hanging out over the balcony of the restaurant and we could look down and we saw the tumbler running back and forth. And we were like not in a sober state and yelling over the balcony, like, "Hey, hey, Batman! Batman!" And eventually this like grip got like mad at us and like was just like giving us the sign. So like, "Hey guys, keep it down." We were like, "You're not Batman." And then the tumbler stopped and it opened up and it was a stunt driver and we were like, "That's not Batman." Then we just started like, "Batman, somebody stole your car." So that was my contribution to Batman Begins.
What what's on the DVD extras?
But you're a designer. Like you're not, are you do it? Did you do any film or is it mostly just like within the design world?
I actually done more now with film stuff,
Yeah.
having working for Universal actually.
That's
But when
right.
I
That's why he's here, everyone. Not just because we're buds, but because he's got the track, the inside track.
I like to doodle in the little side margins in school, and they said like stop doing that, and I was like, no, and I wrote little comics for the teachers. So
Nice.
eventually they just put up with it. And started grading. They would grade my paper, and then they would grade the margins. So it's usually like F or D because I was terrible in school, but like B minus. Nice
What
job.
a cool group of teachers you had.
Yeah,
This was in Illinois.
in Springfield. Yeah,
Okay. See, just another reason to love Illinois. So like, but then that like just sort of set you down the path because you were like, well, if I'm getting B's in doodles, then maybe there's a future there because it's clearly not trigonometry.
right. Oh, good.
No math. There will be no math on the birdcast tonight. Um, and then
Wait,
you went.
algebra was fun until it wasn't.
That's how algebra is, man. What would you describe your style in the design world as?
Cartoony-ish.
Okay.
Actually, when I started, like that's what I wanted to do was like cartooning and comics and like comic panels and stuff like that. And then I did that like all through like grade school and like high school. And then I would actually used to like make like little comic strips that I would like pass around to my buddies. Like it would get
Cool.
passed around over lunch. And except for I had to stop giving it to Sam because he got like food on the edge of my paper.
That's rude.
And I
But
wasn't gonna laminate it.
yeah,
You
also
laminate it.
that's a skill to learn later in life. Remember when like people would get like home laminators and you're like, that's dumb, and then you see it and you're like, actually, it's kind of dope. I'd love a home laminator. You probably have many.
Not
Do you have
anymore.
oh, yeah, you
But
don't.
put a pin in that because I actually have a Universal story about a laminator.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of,
Still on
I
my
was
list.
just in Islands of Adventure 3 weeks ago. We were
You
there.
were for the
Yes.
25th.
Yes. And it was amazing. I
What's your
have
favorite
to
part?
say, you all did a really good job on the Islands of Adventure, which I did not know was a park. I just thought it was Universal Studios. And then there was another thing called Islands of Adventure. I didn't know it was Universal's Islands of Adventure. Because I don't look down when I go to parks. I look up and I just take in the sights. Had I turned my beak but a glance downways, I would have seen on the map that it was Universal's Island of Adventure. But I was too busy getting thrown when you walk through that archway and it says the adventure begins. And I was like, where are we going? What are we doing? And then it was
On
just
adventure.
a whirlwind, man. There's that like park at the front that used to be like a Greek theme, but it's not there anymore. But there's that great restaurant that's there. It's
Meet
like
us.
called
Yeah.
Mythos, yeah. And then there's that big stage that's just like a giant arm coming out of the ground. And I was like, what was that? And they're like, that used to be a show. But now it's just left for the archaeologists of the future. Just and it's just dope to look at. I
It's
mean, I
probably
could
one of my
describe
favorite
this to
areas.
you.
Yeah.
It's neat. Like, what are you like? what did it used to be? Because that I wasn't clear on.
So the one you're actually kind of talking about two different things. There's
Cool.
in that area there's the one with the hand that was Poseidon's Fury, which was kind of like a walkthrough show.
Okay.
And it just shut down permanently about less than a year ago. But it was cool. You'd go from like room to room. It's like an archaeological site in the
Oh, okay.
Poseidon's Fury, and then you're like stuck in there, and you go from like room to room, and like things happen. And they do that really cool thing at like the end where like everything goes dark, and like you open basically it's like the hidden wall thing, and it opens up
Oh,
into a giant amphitheater, and there's like a battle between the gods, which is really sweet. Um, but
why
yeah,
would
and
they
then
shut that down? What the heck, man? Anyway, sorry, go on.
maybe things to come. I don't know. I actually really don't know, so
Okay.
don't ask.
I was told it might be Zelda, which I got very excited about. But
I
go
can
on.
I will confirm I've heard that rumor.
I'm gonna break you. You know that?
No, nothing.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna smash that NDA into nothing. I'll talk circles. I'm a Hannibal Lecter this. You don't even know I'm playing mind games. I already know stuff you don't even know that I know now, just by your body language. That's how good I
Bro,
am at reading. All right. Anyway. Okay. So then it was Poseidon's Fury, and then there was a show, and then you were like, there was something else like in the next area, or how'd that work? Is it like what happened
well,
after that?
in that same area in the Lost Continent, there was and this was done before I got there, but yeah, there's like this massive amphitheater. It was like a Sinbad show. It was like a stunt show,
Oh, nice.
and I hear it was really cool. So I've only been there for like 2 years. That's like a hot minute. But yeah, that was there. And then they used to have a Dueling Dragons coaster, which I did get to go on back in the day, which was super cool. But then that got annexed into
Right.
the Wizarding World of Harry Potter,
Right.
Hogsmeade, because you have to say the entire title.
Yeah, because I thought it was just called Potter Land, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, the Harry Potter park." And they were like, "Do you mean the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Hogsmeade?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess I do." And then I
Yeah.
stared them down. Yeah, we did that. We went in there. I went on Hagrid's ride. That might be one of my favorite coasters, I think ever, is that Hagrid ride.
That is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is okay. For those of you who don't know about the Hagrid ride, I don't want to spoil anything because I was told you shouldn't look up anything about it. Just go in like blind. And I'm like, that's how I usually go into most coasters. I don't think I've ever had a coaster spoiled for me. But I guess, we live in the age of the internet, so it's like, yeah, man, don't go on TikTok and look it up. But yeah, you're on an old motorcycle and then the other person's in a sidecar and like Hagrid controls you with magic. That's what I'll say.
That's a really good non-spoiler version. Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna get it all. I
Yeah.
got it all out. We went on at night, which I was told was super important to do.
I think
Cause
daytime might be my
oh
favorite.
yeah, I was told to go. We did it at night, and I thought it was dope because you could not see the track,
Hmm.
but like you didn't know what was coming.
True. I mean, you get the headlights and everything, which actually work.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always the debate of like what's your favorite one, that one or like Velocicoaster.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask you
I'll,
about
I
the
mean,
Velocicoaster.
we love all of our children, but
If you had to make them fight, who do you think would win?
the
Definitely
one with the
Trevor.
wand.
Trevor would because Trevor's a wizard. Yeah. Velocicoaster, man, it lived up to the hype. Even though I have a lot of love for the Hagrid thing, that was you know what I thought was underrated that nobody told me about was the one where you're in Hogwarts and you're on the little like it's like a I don't know what kind of coaster you call that where you're like in a single seat with like three others alongside you and it's on like an arm and it moves you
Oh,
screen to screen. It's like the tour of Hogwarts.
the Forbidden Journey.
That's the one. That was fun and frightening.
Yeah, that was my wife's favorite one. She grew up a Disney kid, and they went there all the time. And then when we got together, we did come down here and did like a week where we did like both parks, both Disney and Universal. And she had never really gone there, and yeah, she was blown away by like Potter, and she loved that ride specifically, the Forbidden Journey one. And we like crushed that one as many times as we could. And it was August, and it was
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, good call. Just get inside. Any with an air conditioning ride's always dope. Uh,
Right.
that was the one with the giant dragon. That I don't want to like I'll spoil that for you. When you're on the ride, there's a dragon that comes at you and you're not ready because I screamed. I was like, well, this is my nightmare. This I'm very small, Zach. I don't know if you can tell. But like I'm always living in constant fear of being eaten by something larger than me, and that was a moment. Megalophobia or whatever, and I was like, "Blah!" And you're trapped. You're like bolted into the chair, and you're like, "Oh my God!" And it like leans you into the dragon. The dragon's just like, "Ah!" And you're like, "Okay, okay, this is how I go." That's what that
That
looks
ride, yeah, that ride has scarred so many children.
like. No doubt. You're almost eaten. You know what ride did
And
it?
that's just
Hagrid's.
that's the only one. I mean, that's not the only like big creature that almost eats you on
That's
that
true.
ride.
And the second one, since I don't want to spoil it, is even worse. Just putting it out there because no one wants that. It's spiders, okay? Spoilers. If you know your Potter, you know the spiders are coming. They're always around. But yeah, okay, Velocicoaster. Oh my God, that's like that's like peak humanity right there. Y'all just nailed it. What a trip, chefs. Yes. That launch, you're not ready.
Mhm.
Because it's like this is a coaster. You're gonna do a little clackety clack up the thing, and then we're gonna drop over the edge, and then all of it. But no, that's not how this works at all. It's like strap in because there's oh my God. Okay, Zach, like when you're in line and there's the windows and you can see the coaster go by, and then the raptors
Mhm.
chase the coaster. A
Mhm.
plus. I don't know if you know the guy that did that, but you tell them from me. A plus. Champion work. Keep it up,
Larry, he likes
Larry.
it.
Ah, yes. What is like obviously you go to the park a lot, I'm assuming just for work. But is there like a favorite place you like to hang out over there? I mean, are you like do you like go like do you do the Hulk coaster? Like where's like the must-dos?
Well, probably I think we hit those two.
Yeah, I was gonna say besides the ones we just talked about, which are like the greatest rides ever. But go on. There are plenty of
I
good rides to both of
oh
the
yeah,
parks.
I'm trying to think of like rides that are must do, then like places what spots where like I would hang out. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll just go in there and if I got like an assignment, I'll just go in there and like doodle.
Well, that's
I
awesome.
usually I
So you just
usually
like
go to
you just like get to like go in, sit down, like they're just like, "Hey," how does that work? They're just like, hey, Zach, we need something like, okay, hear me out. There's like Doc Ock attacking Hagrid. All right, go. Is it like that's the kind of email you get, or like,
well, I work in the marketing side, so that would probably be more of like a merch request. So anything that goes like outside the park where we're trying to get people to come in is usually what I work on.
oh, nice.
But more specifically, so I got that. So I work for Popcorn, which is is the internal house agency for marketing at Universal Orlando Resort. Can I say the full
Yeah.
names?
Yep.
Um, and people are assigned to different hubs. So I'm a art director, and I work over like Florida marketing and pass holders. So if you were in Islands of Adventure and you went to the comic strip, Toon Lagoon,
Yeah. Yeah.
I did the lounge. That was one of my projects.
Dude, we were hanging out in there. That place is cool.
Oh, thanks.
Love your
Yeah, that
work.
was fun. Thank
Didn't
you.
I was basking in your glory. I wish I would have known ahead of time.
Did you
Uh,
pretend you were saying the thought bubbles that were?
Yeah. So like what's your day to day? Like do they just like do you just have like a series of marketing challenges that you have to meet and so you like wander around the park being like how can we make people super psyched about the Hulk coaster?
Yeah,
Which is
I
so
mean,
hard to do because that
it's
shit's
usually
awesome.
it's good. It usually isn't something like as specific as that. It'll usually be more like the broad appeal. Although we just got off of doing a summer campaign, so it's like, you know, elephant in the room. We got a new park coming next year, and
I may have heard of it.
hmm, sounds epic. But amazing, cool, epic, but we got stuff this year too.
Yeah.
So like we got all this new stuff in the studios park. We have a new nighttime show and we got a new daytime parade, which as of this recording starts like in 3 or 4 days. And then there's a new castle show and Potter and some other stuff coming down the pipe, new DreamWorks land. So we have like a lot of cool stuff happening all at once. So we were working on a campaign to promote that, and we got to really lean into a lot of our old IPs. So like Back to the Future and ET and Ghostbusters and just my heart. So that was fun, and I got to do a lot of neat, you know, every designer usually wants to do two things. They want to do like a restaurant menu and they want to do a billboard. So I got to do like a bunch of billboards. So that was like a bunch. That was fun.
Those
Um,
billboards are like on like out on the general Florida area, or is that just in the park?
out in the area. So to get people to come in. So down on I-4 on the B line is what they call it. Uh,
So like, what's one that I can look for if I'm driving down?
I don't know if they're around the town anymore. I think I might have just taken them down, but I did a lot of the Minion Land
Oh,
stuff that was up
nice.
around town, and then the stuff for the summer campaign. So anything that promotes the new Sensational Lagoon show that we have. So it's got like ET.
Oh,
Um,
where is that show? Because I didn't see any shows while I was down there because we didn't really have a lot of time. We were like crushing rides as fast as we could.
so that would be over in the Universal Studios, the OG park, in the lagoon area, and then the parade that's coming. That'll be also in that park. And
Cool.
then we did what else did I do? ET. Because there's some stuff that we're still trying to get through. Jaws was one that I had done. I even got to write for that one, so that was kind of fun. And did like
No,
yeah. Yeah, my big contribution was like, what if we had a Jaws board for this sensational nighttime music show and it just says da dum.
damn, man.
They're like, love it.
Love it. No, that's awesome. Like I want that on. I just want a poster of that. It just says "da-dum" and like just like a little nose coming up. That's good. No
It's
wonder.
exactly what it is.
It's no wonder you do what you do. How much do you miss like the Back to the Future ride?
I went on Back to the Future when I was a kid, and I thought it was amazing at the time. And then when I went with my now wife, when I went to the Simpsons land for like the first time, I thought it was like the whole land as a whole. I thought was like amazing.
It is
Like
really cool.
who wouldn't want to go get a Flamey Mo and then walk across the way and get a Duff beer and then go get a Krusty Burger? Like it's just really well done.
Yeah.
Um, the ride, the problem is it's been so long since I went on the Back to the Future one that it's kind of hard to compare apples to apples. But
Right.
I mean, I like it.
My favorite thing about Krusty Land that you all do is that when you go into the Quickie Mart and you go to get like a nameplate, all of the Bort nameplates are gone. I think I screamed when I saw that. I was like,
That's so
"That's
crazy.
canon! You guys think of everything." I loved it. Uh, what about like, did you remember the Twister ride that used to be there?
We did get to do that, yeah, when we went. Yeah,
Uh,
that was fun.
then there was there was a Ghostbusters show.
In that spot,
Oh, where the Twister
which
ride was.
yeah, which I was like today years old when I figured out that there was a Ghostbuster show. So apparently when I was a kid, I missed it. And like, because I think Twister was in at that point. And I can't remember what year that I went because Nickelodeon was still there.
There
And
you
I
go.
got to like go see like the GAC fountain and do like the studio tour and everything. But yeah, I didn't know about the Ghostbuster show and I'm looking it up like this is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Like,
like they do like the
um,
Pepper's Ghost effect, and
yeah,
like the ghosts were designed by the Kyoto brothers who did like Killer Clowns for all you horror fans out there. Like it
yep.
looked really cool.
Our buddy Bill Larkin, who does shows with me a bunch and has been a frequent guest on the Birdcast, used to be the Rick Moranis character on that show. And that was I'm
Really?
very rarely starstruck, I think, in life, just because, we're all trying to get through it. But when I heard that, I was like, Bill, I don't know if I can talk to you right now. He's like, why? I was like, I don't know what to do with myself, knowing that you were part of that legendary experience I only heard about in YouTube videos. And he's like, oh, it was great. I'm like, I assumed it was, Bill. He's listening right now. He's probably laughing.
Just like Bill, who does your taxes?
Superintendent's going to be pissed. This year marks the 25th anniversary of Islands of Adventure. How do you, I mean, I'm assuming you weren't there for 25 years. So, like, do you know, like, what was it like when you got there versus what it's like now?
I think actually the only difference was the addition of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Because
What
I
was
got to
that area
go.
used to, what did that used to be?
It was all Lost Continent, which is the Poseidon's Fury. There was just more of it, and I got to go on the Dueling Coast. I'm sorry, Dueling Dragons coaster, which is what was there before, and then it got annexed into the Potter area as Dragon Challenge. I
Yeah.
want
It
to say,
was like the
um,
Triwizard Cup or something,
yeah,
which then
and it
became
was
Hagrid.
and it was a good inclusion. I'm like, yeah, there's dragons in Potter.
That makes sense.
And but yeah, it was all that area. So like, when that park opened, they had this completely original idea area. So that one's near and dear to my heart because like it's you get to walk through it. And I love actually my favorite part of that entire area that's still there, and I hope whatever comes, like it stays, is the Mystic Fountain, the talking fountain. I don't know
Oh,
if you ever got to
oh,
see him.
I saw that. That like just completely drenched this little kid that was standing there, and I laughed super
He had
hard.
it coming.
Yeah, because you have to talk to it, and then all of a sudden just got spooshed on. I was like, "This kid's awesome." Oh, is that so? What does that do? Because like we were walking past it, so we were in a hurry. Okay, short story. We were in a hurry because they all wanted to ride Hagrid's. They had all ridden it before I had not, and they were like, "We got to ride Hagrid's at night, and we got to get there now because there was a storm, which means everybody's going to pick and stick to the line, and then they're going to do that thing where they're like, I don't know if we're going to open in time to try to get people to leave." And there was these are professional park goers, man. You got every time you go to a park, you got to go with the professional goers. Otherwise, you're lost completely. They get you right, right. They get you on the rides, and we ran past the fountain. And I turned around. I was like, "What is that kid doing talking to a fountain?" And I was like, "Oh, well, this is an amusement park. Obviously, this is a theme thing going on." And it just exploded all over this kid. And I was like, ah, I turned around at the right time. There's magic everywhere. It was awesome.
Because the kid was sassing off. That's usually
Is
how
that what
that
it
goes.
was? Like, I don't understand how it works. Is there like a game you play with the fountain?
No, I just every once in a while he wakes up and you can talk to him. I swear there's a British accent.
Yeah.
It's like a husky British accent. Like,
Bit of Olmec.
yeah, exactly. But a little bit
Uh,
Cockney.
and like
Um,
saw that go down. That was excellent.
so you can like you throw him a coin and like he'll probably thank you, and then I think they take that money and they donate it to some local charity, which is
Nice.
cool.
Very cool.
And if you try to take your money back, he'll squirt you.
Cool.
Um, and then yeah, it's usually just the kids who get sassy. He gives them a
Yeah.
smoosh.
All right, so take me through it. Okay, here we are. You and me. It's 9 a.m. Well, park opens at 9. Yeah, and it's 9 a.m. We're on our way in. What's the first place we're going? Optimum day at the Dual Park.
Well, it depends if you are staying on property and if you are at the hotels. You usually want to stay at the top tier ones because that'll get you the early entry.
Does get
So
you in.
that'll get you in like an hour early. And you'll go probably straight to the Wizarding World and Hogsmeade there because everyone's going to make a mad dash for Hagrid's. Um, Even then, by the time you get there, it's still a 45-minute wait. Then you're like, I don't want to wait 45 minutes. I'm like, yeah, you do, because
Yeah, you
normally
do.
it's like an hour, two
Yeah.
hours
That's
for
what you
that
got.
ride.
That's what you got to be ready for, man. If you're a professional park goer, you wait in lines. That's the jam, unless you get the
Hmm.
flash pass. But who's got that kind of money? Anyway, go on.
Right. And just make sure you have a heads up on your phone. You can do all that.
Ah, yes, everyone was doing that. It was so good. I wanted to chime in, but I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, I
So
do.
it's like,
It's fine.
just scream it out. You're like, it was Eraser, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Eraser, idiot.
From there, it's actually pretty fair game. And like I mean, since it's so close, you'll probably cut across the way to go to Velocicoaster. Velocicoaster will have long waits, but that one will kind of fluctuate where you probably don't have to go there right away. You can circle back and hit it later when it's also at like a 45-minute wait. The hot tip for that one that usually it is open for it is to do single rider. So you
Yeah.
and your buds get in line, the single rider, and like, it's for those who don't know, that's like when what it sounds like, a single rider. You have this at the park across the street too, but you and your buds are basically in line, and then you get up there, and then like you're basically the whenever somebody has a third wheel, and they need you to
Yeah.
fill in the even
Yeah.
numbers. But usually you and your friends will get on the same coaster. You just won't be right next to each other, and that wait is usually about like half.
What are we finishing with? What's your final ride in that? Because like you can kind of mix it up in between. You hit all the hits
Yeah.
at the beginning. We did the train back and forth between the Potter thing because I thought that was kind of cool. And it was, in fact, kind of cool. But it kept making me laugh because I was like, when you go into King's Cross, it's like this is like what it looks like. This is just a subway. And I was thinking like, oh, if we did a Chicago pavilion at Universal, like it's like, oh, ride the red line. Step over this guy, he's passed out. And oh, you can the bathrooms are just the back of the train, and you'll get delayed, and then thrill as you race underground to the loop
For some reason, there's Dementors on both. I don't
on
know.
both. Oh yeah, there's absolutely Dementors. 'Cause,
ET still there. That's a must
yeah, we
do.
did the ET one. I was told that was like a classic to check
It
out.
is. And I went on it again. I think I went on as a kid. I went on as adult, and like the first half is like, oh, the movie, and then the back half is like, what
The
is
back half
this?
is like sailing through a rainforest cafe. And I was like, if they gave me like if you could eat on this ride would be god tier. Universal, don't close down the ET ride. You don't even need to do much. Just like hand out like tapas as you land on ET's planet. We don't need to do the like ET says hello to you anymore because that never works anyway. But what we would want is some snacks because that was awesome. I was like, man, you know what would make this great? A daiquiri. Because it's so nice, it smells amazing, and it's air conditioned. You got all these little animatronics like bobbling at you, and you're like, I could hang here for a bit. This is fun.
So you notice the smells?
Oh yeah, the smell is amazing. You can get those in a candle, I hear. Do you have one?
Fucking I
Whoa,
did it, but I don't have that one. So
so
let's see.
cool.
So that's actually when I was working at the agency in Iowa, and of course, I wasn't busy enough, so I'm like, I should freelance. And I had a lot of family
That's
that was
always
like,
great. You're like,
right,
I could do this, I could do more of this, but get paid less or maybe more depending on who's willing.
exactly.
Ha!
And again, I had a lot of family who was like into parks, and I myself, it's actually funny. It was that my now wife, her family was like super into Disney, and I always liked parks. Like I grew up going to like Six Flags in St. Louis, and then like Kansas City, go to like Worlds of Fun.
Oh yeah, and oceans.
But oh yeah, and it is oceans of fun. And we had just gone to the parks not too long ago. It was like Disney and Universal, and I was like, listen, like sitting on a parade, and like they're like blowing stuff at me. I'm like, ooh, cookies. I bet somebody must make a candle or a wax melt based off this stuff. And I'll Buzz Market, Magic Candle Company, is
Hmm.
who I work with. And I reached out to them, and I'm like, Keith, like, do you ever work with any other outside designers at all? And he's like, well, I'm not against it. And then so I did like this proof of concept. And I do have that one actually.
Oh, cool.
So I came up with this idea to do like this wilderness campground one with him.
Oh,
And I
nice.
like kind of mocked up like a template for it, and I sent it, and he's like, "That's great. Can you do my whole line?" He's like, "Oh, okay." And I thought it was like 10. Turned out to be like 60.
Whoa.
So that took a while. But yeah, it was my longest term client, and I did not move down here for them, but they just happened to be down here. In the theme park capital of the world.
Oh,
And yeah, actually, Universal became one of their clients. So we did like some of these designs for Universal for like some of the rides and for the resorts. And I just really like doing it so much. And I'm like, well, I'm down here. Because originally when I moved down here, I was just I was freelancing by myself for a year. That was my biggest client. And just trying to find other stuff, making friends with magicians and doing their branding,
like you do.
like you do in Orlando.
Sure. That
Um,
that tracks.
Buzz Market, Chris Shepherd Magic.
You know the
Uh,
Shep? You know the Shep? The magical Shep? Anyway, sorry. Uh so like through the all right, so a sweet scented career indeed. So your whole base was like, hey man, I'm gonna bottle this magical memory and
mhm.
make it look pretty, like because like what you did was design the design for the candle, not the like candle itself. You weren't like dipping
No,
wax.
that was all him. And then I did all the marketing and like the shipping boxes. I even did a little bit of writing for there. I'm like, what if we did bringing the vacation to you? That sounds like a fun
So
tagline. Um, did that. Then Universal was a client, and I really enjoyed that process. And I'm like, well, I'm down here and I'm freelancing. Eventually, I like to do stuff for parks. I'm like, I'd be stupid not to apply to Universal. Um, so I like met a guy through like a themed entertainment freelancers group because that's a thing.
well, if you can dream
Um,
it, it exists on the internet.
right.
Rule 34.
And met him for coffee, talked about the job. And he's like, hey, there might be something coming. And then through that, 2 months later, I started working for Universal.
Whoa.
So which is cool. Yeah, it was really neat. And I started popcorn. They moved me around a couple times. So now I'm an art director now, doing what I do, and also do the candles every once in a while because it's still fun to do. It's like a little pet project.
Yeah,
But
dope.
yeah.
I would. What all right, what's coming up? Like we're talking like it's getting on our favorite time of the year. Are you a horror fan? Do you like the horror films?
I do. I'm horror adjacent. I got buddies who are way more into it to me, and they're like, "You gotta watch Terrifier." And I'm like, "No, I can't."
Well, that's a bold claim.
Right. I think all the horror stuff that I like is usually like when you mix genres, so like horror comedy, Ghostbusters, and Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or like the monster movies, so like Mummy or Quiet Place is like super good. I like that stuff. But yep,
Like a
and then
little you like a little adventure. You like a little spice in your horror, nothing too like
yeah, and I
down.
also enjoy the cute Halloween, which I hear the kids call spoopy.
Spoopies. Yeah, I've heard of the
Yeah.
spoop. Well, all right, so I've never watched a horror movie before. What are the three movies you would recommend for me to watch?
Hmm. So now I want to like pick like very different ones instead of everything from my category.
Okay.
I think you gotta do like a classic slasher. So for me, it was always Nightmare on Elm Street for me. That one. Um, I like the old school Universal monster movies. My personal favorite is Frankenstein.
Nice.
Love that
Classic.
one. And then go from like closer to genres to my heart. I have to go Ghostbusters.
Yeah, well, that's pretty dope. Pretty dope
I mean,
pick.
I mean,
Oh,
where aren't
wow.
they?
What are we looking at? What? Hell yeah, man, you got cool toys. That makes sense.
I
You're
like
in
the
the
cosplay. That's me.
yeah, you're in the coolness business. Are you a cosplayer or do you do the circuit at all or
They thought I did because I wore like a full on like Ghostbusters with my proton pack. Pin in that one. We gotta talk about that. To like our Halloween party last year at work because I think we do good Halloween parties here.
yeah.
They're like, "You cosplay, right?" And I'm like, "No, should I?" I really don't, but I should.
Yeah, I've only done it once, and I was Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. You can find that on
Nice.
my Instagram. Wait, what happened with
Yeah,
your proton pack? You have one?
I do. It's actually at the office. So as of this recording, I think it just got announced last week that well, we have this little event. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Halloween Horror Nights,
I
and
have.
you did? Oh, I thought it was kind of obscure. We're crazy.
No, tell me more.
Um, but they announced a house last week, so they're gonna do Ghostbusters Frozen Empire House, which is
Whoa.
cool. Anything that gets Ghostbusters back in the parks, I'm all for it. And I gotta give our HHN team like credit. Like they're good. They're legit. They like
Yeah,
they keep everything like hush hush. They use code names for everything, and and they even work right next to me. And I still don't know what all of like the houses are. They're that good.
that's so cool.
It's cool.
Go to
But
the
like one of them, like I'll hear like little things every now and then. I'm like, is that what I think it is? Yeah, I think it is.
How do you keep it together, man? I'd be freaking out every 5 minutes. Like pounding on the
Well,
door, like, Jerry, I know what you're doing in there, man. I know what's going on. Is that Flubber? You bringing Flubber back? Open the door, Jerry. I'm assuming it's Jerry.
he is the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
But once I figured out maybe what it was, I'm like, hey, if this is what I think it is, could I like help out in some way? Like, can I design something? Or like, you're probably gonna film something. If I could like help with that, like that would be amazing. And I just, without being annoying, but being persistent, I found my way to the right person. I just asked them, and they were like, yeah, we'll see. And then like the week of when they come to like film it, the commercial for the announcement video, they're like, hey, what are you doing Wednesday night? I'm like, shut up, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry. God,
Jerry is also a code name because of my
what
so yeah.
what was like a code name for one from the past, if you can remember?
They do themes on code names. So last year was all like fruits and stuff.
Oh,
So they
Nugs.
would
That's
do
fun.
like nectarine or something like that. Um, And then they stick to it even after like it's announced. Like they're just it's in their brain. They're like, yeah, the nectarine thing came out last week. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I don't remember what that is. I
And
didn't grow
then
up
they
in the
actually
house.
have to think about it and like say like, oh yeah, sorry, it was Stranger Things. Yeah, so Ghostbuster was announced, and like I got to show up on set for that one and observe, and I got to help out by donating my proton pack to the commercial.
Whoa!
So that's what's in the commercial for the release video. And since I got to be of service, they let me pick an extras role. I'm like, whichever one's on camera. So when you got somebody like walking across the street, jaywalking, no less,
Yeah.
that's me and a coworker. So
Wait,
that's
so
cool.
I can see you in the like release or
Yeah.
announcement trailer?
Chad, I'm canon.
Damn! I always wanted to be canon. How's that
Oh,
feel?
it's so fun.
Do you have a wiki page?
Amazing.
The Epic Universe is happening, and there's going to be a dark park at that Epic Universe. I didn't want to be telling tales out of school, but I heard this.
How'd
Um,
you know this? And I didn't. That's weird.
I Google. I got a guy. His name is Jerry. He works right next to you. I'm surprised.
Well, again, it's in marketing, so
Yeah.
you know, I'm not like Universal Creative, which is like our Imagineering.
Right.
Um, but I mean, there is a team that's dedicated to work on that. And then I'm like, what? I mean, yeah, I'm psyched to work on it. I want to work on it, and they're like, everyone's gonna work on Epic. Chillax. So not yet. But I get to
But you
see the
are
stuff
going
that
to.
people do.
That's
Yeah,
it.
eventually. Yeah,
How psyched should we be for
super
this?
psyched. If
Cool.
you can Google, you should be psyched. Like,
Oh, I have. I have. I went down the rabbit hole on this one. I am so happy that the Dark Universe Park is happening because like
same.
that is like the ultimate Venn diagram of my interests, thrill rides and scary movies. And like I don't know how y'all are gonna do it. I don't know what it's gonna like how I can't even like I can't even grok what's happening. Like I'm like, wait, it's not gonna be it can't be night all the time, so how's it gonna be dark and spooky? What are we even doing? And like there's gonna be a monster makeup spot, you got people walking around, there's gonna be like two rides that are horror themed. I just didn't think it would ever happen, and I just think it's very cool that y'all are doing it. Um
Yeah, I think Universal Monsters are long overdue to get their spot.
yeah,
I know people were up in arms. Well, some people, you know, the internet.
ah, heard of
When
it.
you had like the Monsters Cafe out in Universal Studios, which was a cool spot, you know, got updated to something else. And I'm like, guys, I bet something's gonna come at this next park. And sure enough, I guessed right. Because again, I don't really know any more than anybody else until it gets announced. Like I found out like the day of that we were doing something in Vegas. Like that's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
What are you guys doing in Vegas?
so Universal is doing a all year round HHN thing called Horror Unleashed, I think.
Whoa.
So it'll be like a year round HHN. They'll do like original houses there that you can go to, just like how I imagine there's probably some in Chicago that are just year round haunted houses, kind of like you do like escape rooms
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah, oh
that.
yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of them out here.
So they'll have that, and they'll probably like rotate some stuff. Imagine if that went well, maybe elsewhere, but we'll see that when we get to it. But yeah, that was cool. Like, and I didn't know about it until like the day of, and then like they announced some kids park in Texas. Do I even work here? Like, is
Guys, Jerry. Why does Jerry get to know things before you, Zach? I don't like it.
Universal does amazing stores. I know like it's kind of like a different like tangent, but like our shops are like super themed and like we do like these amazing like tribute stores. I don't know if you ever got to see one of those. And they'll usually do one for like HHN, they'll do one for like Mardi Gras when we do that because you know Mardi Gras is a 1 day event for us, happens for 2 months, um, which is great. And then we do yeah, they do like these summer tribute stores, which is where the laminator comes back because
Yeah. What a twist.
right
Go on.
back. But we do like different themes every year, and like whoever that team is that does it just always knocks it out of the park. And it's like this 80s video store, but it's not like a Blockbuster. It's like your small town like Radio Shack
Nice.
wood panel video store. And actually, it's my buddy Matt who like stars in like the announcement video for it, doing like this grizzled, awkward 80s businessman type thing. Come on down to the store. And That's the thing. Like we all just a cameo in our own stuff because we're selfish like
Yeah,
that.
why not?
But
You're
um,
there.
but yeah, it's like a little checkout area where like he does like his VCR repair. For kids who don't know what that is, look it up. And there's like a laminator like sitting like on the counter next for like the employee like name tags, and I was just like, that's my favorite detail right there. They got the laminator.
Well done. That's impressive. Where's this park even going to be? Like when we were like walking around Islands of Adventure, we were trying to figure out where the like the Epic Universe is going to be situated.
Yeah, it is about a mile away. We'll have a dedicated bus lane that goes to it. You can actually see it like from our parking garage. You can see the Helios, which is the hotel that's like on the backside of the park with all the yellow cranes. Um, so about a mile away. I think it'll probably take like 5 to 10 minutes to get there by bus, which is like perfectly doable. And there's if you're used to the other park, you bus everywhere
Right.
and rail and sky and walk.
Everybody loves
But
Sky. Everybody, you humans just love it, man. You just take your snacks. You, just get, you like ski lifts. If you could ski lift everywhere, you would. I get it,
would I
but
get it?
like anything you got
Yeah.
going on in that
Just my
realm?
just my little cameo in that one and that announcement video. I think there's I do stuff for APs, so anything that they do is like giveaways for pass holders. It's usually stuff that like I'll design. So that usually be more like little one-off merchandise things that are always fun to do. So like the little magnets that people put on their fridge or on the back of their car, or their lanyards, or like their Coke Freestyle cups. Like I'll do that kind of stuff, or like prints or buttons. But then I'll work on some of like the other campaigns. So it's diverse as far as the stuff I get to do.
Portfolio
Like
is stacked. It's like a goulash. If you could design any ride that hasn't been designed yet, what would you do?
I think everybody who works there, half the fun is playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon, and like this is what I would do.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm assuming this is a conversation that happens frequently within the park.
it does. It's usually like, well, what would this be if this wasn't here? How would I improve this other thing? But like, not too often does that come up about just starting from scratch. But for me, I
Ooh,
would love to do more stuff with like games and like do like some sort of Halo attraction. Like that would be amazing. Or
oh,
like,
yeah. What would that be like? Like a Halo? Was it be like a virtual ride, like one of those coasters with screens, whatever that's called?
yeah, what is that called?
I don't know.
Coaster with
That's
screens.
not
I don't know.
that's not what you do. It's not what I do. Stop asking. Anyway,
Universal does it. They
Universal
do.
does.
They do coasters with screens. I don't know. It's got to be like I would like homogenize like the all the rides from like different parks, but doing like something like I think it needs to be like a ride like that, or a ride that comes in like segments where you can do like you have to have some sort of like a blaster or something like that, like a villain con, a minion blast, or if you're a Disney person, like Toy Story Midway Mania, which is like you want to put that in a Halo ride and like just go with it. You have a
Halo.
little thing right there. So it's like a coaster and like screens and like practical effects and like stuff like that. Like in animatronics, we do all that. I thought that would be really dope.
Dope.
Or I also thought like a really cool like IP that we could work with that you can do so much with would be like Ready Player One would make actually like an
Oh yeah, it makes
amazing.
super makes sense in Universal, especially just based on like your like nostalgia factor.
Yeah, I mean there's like half of it's like
Yeah.
things that, I mean at least in the movie, which I like the movie. I really like the book too. But yeah, like all the stuff in the movie is like nods to like stuff we already do. And then you could like again do I would probably do more like an Escape for Green Grass type like ride system where you got like a coaster that can actually like turn, or again for your Disney fans, that'd be more like a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing where you just like go on a really fast coaster that can turn into like face screens and stuff, and you could do like this whole I don't know, like the battle of the whatever the end of the movie, but then you could like change out like characters and stuff like that because like that's what the whole point of the book and the movie is. Like that would be
That's
fun.
that sounds dope. I want to do a ride based on the film uh Stay Tuned with John Ritter, where you just go from like hell themed television show to hell themed television show, and then it becomes like a drop coaster, and you end up at the end of the Lawnmower Man, where you're in like cyberspace and you have to fight Jeff Fahey, but like and Pierce Brosnan's always like yelling at you all through the thing, like this nostalgia trip has gone too far. And you're like, shut up, Pierce. So yeah.
That
basically
sounds
like
super universal.
mid 90s. Like there's like one guy in the coaster that gets it, and the rest of you are like, I don't know what this is referencing, but it seems to be very faithful to the material. And there's like one guy in the back that's like, ah, nice. That's what I want. Make it
That's usually that was me at the tribute store. Nah,
happen.
laminator. Nice.
Nice.
That's fun. Not eraser. You wouldn't do something with like laser
Oh
guns and like
wow, that
random like
movie.
it's Florida, so bears or
That's true.
crocodiles.
Yeah, that's right. With the oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, okay, maybe we'll do an eraser ride.
Okay,
I could see that.
we get the right vehicle. We can do it.